Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to a early season finale here of the Custom Tour Championship season number 3. So the season is going to end about 2 rounds earlier than expected, but those 2 tracks will be carried over to the next season. But as of right now, this is the final round of the season here for this series. We are still heading to the Arctic Circle Raceway in Mo i Rana, Norway. I believe I might have mispronounced that name, but regardless, we're still going to go ahead and give things a go here in the final round of the championship. It is a bit delayed, so there was some slight delays here. We are just getting started right at the back of qualifying here, so once again, season finale here in Mo i Rana Raceway, or Arctic Circle Raceway here in Mo i Rana. And honestly, it'll be interesting because I've never really seen this track before, so I'll be really curious to see how everything does play out in today's race. It's expected to be a good one. From the little bit of spectator practice I did on this track, some pretty decent overtaking opportunities, and I will say, and some of you may agree with me when we load into the track, but this track does kind of remind me of like the spirit of excellence that you see on like the bonnet of a Rolls Royce. It kind of has that, or it looks like a dove, at least from specific angles. So should be an interesting track. Qualifying is underway as we speak. About 2.5 minutes of qualifying here. As per usual, we will go ahead and jump in straight at the end of quali because that is pretty much how a solo course does tend to work. But some drivers already having some issues off the get-go. David Todaro already having some issues. He's already had a crash with the environment. He is one of the drivers in the Saab 9000 CT300. So we'll just have to see how these drivers do navigate this track. I believe it's unfamiliar territory for pretty much everybody here, even the broadcaster here in the booth. It'll be myself, Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, in the booth here today. I'll be your host and commentator throughout the season finale here at Arctic Circle Raceway. It'll be interesting to kind of see because we know in recent times it has pretty much been the Jaguar and Volvo show in the CT450s, and then throughout the season it's pretty much just been, although last time out was a bit of a different story, but for the most part it has been a Volkswagen and Renault show here. So I'll be really curious to kind of see how this one plays out. Will we see any surprises? Will we see Matty Shepard put in a good performance? Or will Marcus Pennington III make it 3 in a row? It'll be interesting because conservation is going to be a factor here because as I found out right after last week's race, that pit stops are actually not required, but it does take a good amount of fuel saving. So we'll see if somebody can pull that off here today and ultimately make a ton of progress. Well, in the progress. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this one plays out. There is about final 30 seconds of qualifying. Rodriguez is looking like he's in pole position for right now. Quite a few drivers still doing their laps, but right now it is Rodriguez currently in the lead of qualifying here, and Tito Saavedra currently in the lead of the CT300s in the Renault 5. This track isn't nearly as narrow as Long Beach the last time around, so there'll be some more opportunities to get some good overtakes, and we probably won't max out the amount of restarts that we can use. So we'll just kind of see as qualifying has come to an end here, and we'll see as a lot of drivers just finish up their final laps here. Rodriguez still on top of the times as it sits right now. We'll see who else can make the jump and overall just get into the lead here and who can go ahead and finish on top. Marcus is looking to make it 3 pole positions in a row, and so far that has been kind of his bread and butter. He's been really good at qualifying. He's converted the last 2 pole positions to race wins, and now he's looking to make it 3-peat. Fred Bawden jumping up into second, and right now it is still Tito Saavedra in the CT300s currently taking that pole position in class, but And interestingly enough, Tito might actually start 5th place overall. Although granted, there's not a lot of 450s here. There's actually 4 450s, and the rest of the field is a 300. So it looks like Saavedra will take pole position here in his Renault 5, and it'll be another pole position for the Jaguar. So some drivers are leaving the session, getting ready to kick it up for the actual race, the season finale. It is actually it's pretty toasty on track here. It is 36 degrees Celsius with 26 degrees in the air, so that is going to be a pretty toasty one, I will say. So we're going to jump to the track here very, very, very shortly. We're just waiting for things to go ahead and get confirmed and waiting for the lobby to do its funny little reset as we're about to get going for the final race of the season. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out, but anyways, it's going to be a fun one, I can tell you that, because it's always fun here at the CTC. It's always good racing when we come here every Sunday, and I know there's some interesting things in the works, but we will cross that bridge when we do get there. Heard some Formula 3 championships might be in the works, and then also potential for CT 500. So we'll see what the organizers do decide as we go ahead and get ready to jump into the session here in a few moments time, and then it'll be time for the final race of the season. We're going to go ahead and just jump straight on in now. The lobby has been reset, and we are going to go ahead and just get straight on into it. .8 kilometers around in Mo i Rana, Norway. It is the northernmost track in the world here at Arctic Circle Speedway. So, unless they build a track in the North Pole at some point soon, this is the furthest track north that you could reach. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and jump straight to the track, as things are about to go ahead and get fired up here. You can hear the engines, and now you're going to see the lights. You're going to see everything live here, so here we go. Practice, the pseudo-free practice is wrapping up, and although this version doesn't show it, but if the view I was seeing earlier had this track map flipped, so if you were to actually flip that track map, you might see what I'm talking about, where it kind of looks like the Spirit of Elegance that is on the Rolls-Royce cars, or at least some of the older ones. I don't know if they still do that for Rolls-Royce. I thought they might have got rid of it at some point, which is a shame, but we do have cars going through on track here at the moment. It is a quick practice, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the race here, the season finale at the Arctic Circle Speedway here in Mo i Rana, Norway. Kind of a funny name to say, 5 sounds fast, but yeah, got a good amount of elevation change here on the track, so that might throw a bit of a wrench into the works. We can see the Jaguar of Kyle McCain kind of bouncing around the circuit here as he makes his way through, and then Evelyn Cook putting in a little bit of extra practice in the Saab before the final round of the season. We do have a bigger grid than we did last time. We have 16 cars across both categories. We have 5 cars in the CT 450s, and then the remainder of the field is that CT 300 crowd. So we're going to see who can brave the cold here at the Arctic Circle Speedway. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can have a three-peat here for Marcus Pennington. The third in his name is going to stand for three-peat potentially, so we'll see. And I think he would take the championship in that regard, but as the cars are coming into the pits now, we're about to get ready to do some racing here in the final round of the Custom Tour Championship here. It's been a fun season, and this is the first broadcasted season, so I've been It's been a lot of fun. I've been glad to have been a part of every single race here this season. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this final round goes because it is 16 cars and a good amount of fighting will happen on these tracks. It's not the widest track known to man, but it is definitely certainly a lot wider than the last track we went to of Long Beach. And actually, there are some parts here that do look pretty wide, so expect some really good battling here. Actually, I might be a bit wrong here. This might actually be one of the probably the widest track of the season that we've been to. We've been on some tight tracks throughout the season. Round 2 in Harama was a pretty narrow track, and then we also had the last round in Long Beach. So it'll be interesting to see what tracks are going to be around next season. The 2 cancel rounds of the Hockenheim Ring and the Mount Panorama Circuit might be a part of the calendar. I believe they actually will be a part of the calendar, but it will be the end of the broadcasts here at CTC. We will still be back next season with the broadcasts and for any potential future series that this league might throw on. I do just want to give a massive thank you and shout out to everybody who has tuned in throughout the duration of the series. It's been a fun one to cover. It's been a unique one. It's something I've never effectively covered before, so it's really awesome to see such a unique series here. And I mean, everybody who competes in this league, they put in so much work into their cars. They build their engines, they design the cars, they have pretty much put in so much work. And honestly, I wouldn't feel great if I didn't give every single driver a shout out for all the hard work they put in throughout the season, even though the season did come to a bit of a early end as we go ahead and bring that spectator car back into the pits. So we will see how it's going to go here. 27 laps around this track, 3.8 kilometers. It is going to be a fun one. It is Marcus Pennington III starting right next to Fred Bawden and Matty Shepard, our 3 race winners so far across the season. Kyle McCain right behind him, and then Ismael Rodriguez going to start from the back of the 450s, and then just a bit further back we have Saavedra leading the way, and we'll see if Mayonnaise can get the start that she wants here. We'll see if she can put that number 24 Peugeot onto the top step of the rostrum. We'll see if it's going to be the Rover's time to shine, or will the Nissan finally get a podium that it's been waiting for so long this season. But in about 30 seconds, we will have our answer. So we'll just get ready to go here. And in about 25 seconds, we'll be underway with the season finale here of the Custom Tours Championship, season number 3, round 6. And we're about to go ahead and get racing here for the final round of the season. And in about 10 seconds, we're about to go lights out here. Here we go. We're about to get racing here in the final round of the Custom Tours Championship. And it's lights out, and away we go here for the season finale. A good launch there from Fred Bawden. He's going to go ahead and get the launch that he so desperately needed. He's going to get it up the inside. Bawden in the lead of the race here from the get-go. And Matty Shepard didn't have a great start. She's down in the back. Going back to the 300s, it looks like Leonard Bork and Evelyn Cook are going to go to do battle here. It's Rover versus Saab for that P2 position here. And we'll see who's going to go ahead and... Rodriguez has had a fantastic start, although we do know that the Nissan is a fantastic starting car, but sometimes its performance in a race has had a few mixed results. But Matty Shepard and Kyle McCain not really having the greatest starts. And once again, oh, look at this. The Saab is called right to the back of that Renault. Tina Saavedra is under some pressure now from Leonard Bork, as Bjork is going to go in and try to close in the gap and try to put Saab on the top step of the podium for the first time and the only time this season. So battle is going to go all throughout here today. This is a pretty good track for battling, just from what I've just even seen so far. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful race. Matty Shepard is going to go in and try to push up as Kyle McCain does get a bit onto the grass there as they make their way through the final corner to begin lap number 2 here. and we'll get that fastest lap updated here shortly. And here's an interesting statistic, right, is Maddie has won 2 races, Marcus has won 2 races, and if Fred wins this race, then he will also win 2 races. So 6 wins shared between 3 different drivers all equally would actually be a really cool thing. And it's interesting because we do know that Fred Bonnet is in that dated Toyota Supra chassis. So we'll see if Bonnet makes the jump up to the Mark IV next time around. And it'll be interesting to see what this field is going to look like next season. Some drivers are obviously going to change cars. There's going to be some engine changes probably as well. I mean, we know Matty Shepard has built probably the best engine in the entire league right now. So, I mean, Shepard and Saavedra probably have the best engines in their respective classes. Because we know a bit of a brake lock up there from the Renault. Borg is going to go ahead and try to maybe get a move on the inside. Lennart's going to go ahead and push in that Saab, trying to go ahead and take the lead in the class, and it'll be the first time for the Saab to get onto that top step of the podium, and this actually might be one of the only podiums for Saab. I'll have to double check, but some pretty good battling here in class, and we're seeing some excellent fighting, actually probably just up and down this entire field. Oh, a bit of a moment there from Kyle McCain. He's dropped way down here as we're on lap 3 out of 27 here on the day. That's not Matty Shepard. He's trying to close in on Rodriguez and Pennington, trying to do the same for Baldwin. But we have some battles here side by side. Mayonnaise and David Tadaro trying to go ahead and get any position here. Mayonnaise will keep her position. She will keep that Peugeot up into P11 overall. And just taking a look at the 300s, that would be P6 in class. So far, keeping it within the top 10. As Fleck is actually in the pit, so I think Fleck might be done for today. So that might be our first retiree of the session. So Patricia Fleck, her night is done. And now there are 15 cars who are taking to the track here, and Evelyn Cook is trying to go ahead and get a move done onto Lennart Bjork there. And once again, this is just going to allow Saavedra to kind of start running away with this one. If these two are not careful, then Tito could have a really good chance of just trying to run away with this race here. And I mean, we know that Renault is quick, so I think this could be a track that really just favors the Renault anyway, because the Renault has been strong in a majority of tracks here this season. As Maddie is trying to put that Volvo up and try to push to the back of that Nissan, but Maddie hasn't had the most luck here tonight. She'll try to close things in on Ishmael Rodriguez, a driver who has previously not run another round of the season, who has been absent for a little while, but now is back here at the season finale to go ahead and give it one last go to try to put that Nissan on the podium. So we'll see if Rodriguez will be successful. Fred Bawden and Tina Saavedra having the fastest lap. This is their best lap of the season, or of their session here so far, with a 129.0 and then a 131.0. So about 2 seconds separating our top 2 classes here today. As the battle for P2 in the CT300 has just been so intense here. As Bjork is trying, look at this, Evelyn Cook trying to cook that Rover up, and it's going to be a bit too much, a bit too deep for the Saab there, as Evelyn Cook does make her way up into P2 in class. And now she's got to try to push that Rover all the way back. But Borg and Braust are going to go ahead and duke it out. It is Volkswagen versus Saab here. The Swedish car against the German. We'll see who's going to come out on top on this particular battle, as things are getting really close. As Fred Bawden does have the fastest lap of the race here so far with a 128.8. Pretty good lap down there, as Matty Shepard is still closing to the back there of that Nissan. Oh, this car just sounds so nice here. You can see that the suspension is getting a good workout here on the racetrack, as Matty continues to try to push that Volvo into the podium position. But Fred Bodden has really kind of just run away with this one, I would say. So looks like a bit of a slide there for the Volvo as the Volvo makes its way through the circuit. But yeah, I mean, once again, oh, and Evelyn potentially trying to see if that car will do good for a rally championship. Trying to put that Rover. I mean, actually, come to think of it, a CTC. It'd be interesting to see what these drivers could kind of build in their workshops for rally cars. I think we'll see about. Because honestly, now after seeing that, I do want to kind of see a Rover rally car. Someone probably has one somewhere. I could probably do a quick Google search and find one, but that's actually a really cool thing. But Matty Shepard up in his CT450s is going to try to make a move now. Trying to push that Volvo into P3 here on the day. It's going to get close, but we know that that Nissan is a very rapid machine. But here comes Matty. Ismael Rodriguez is going to go ahead and try to hold a position, and Ismael does. The number 20 PlayStation Nissan is going to continue to do magic around this track. This would be, I believe, Rodriguez's best finish of the season here. So we'll see how Rodriguez does. We'll see if he can keep that podium up as Matty is going to try to get closer and closer. Trying to close the gap. I mean, we know that Volvo is mighty in the straight. But I think the Nissan might have it in the corners. But that's not going to stop Matty because Matty's going to try. I think even just slinging around the corner there. But Matty is putting a lot of pressure, closing that gap up, inch by inch, meter by meter. And we will just kind of have to see how this is going to play out. The top, well, Marcus and Fred have kind of just pulled away. Fred is about 2 seconds in the lead, and Pennington is 2 seconds ahead of Rodriguez. So we'll see how this battle progresses. But here we do have Evelyn Cook now. As that is a really funny camera for Saavedra. Unfortunately, not the ideal camera angle that I will try to get, but do have some battles here up and down the field. As we do see that Evelyn Cook is trying to put pressure onto Saavedra. Trying to go ahead and close the gap and try to get Rover their first win of the season. 3 cars have won the won a race here this season, and Rover's not been one of them. So we'll see if the Rover can go ahead and get a win here today. It's pretty possible because Evelyn does have a pretty solid gap on Lennart. Lennart is about 3.3 seconds back. And we do have Tyler Long in another Rover trying to go ahead and put pressure onto the Mazda RX-7 of Aurelio Toscanini. They're continuing to do battle, and there's just battles just kind of breaking out all through this field. I mean, you got Matty Shepard going deep, but so does Rodriguez, so I think that kind of stabilized coming through. That's going to increase the gap to the Jaguar and the Toyota just up the road ahead. Cook is going to go ahead and try to cook up a good race here, try to cook up a win in that Rover. But so far, really the main battles here, I mean, you got Tyler Long too, really trying to put pressure on the Toscanini. Is this going to be a move made? We'll just have to see. As there's battles coming all throughout the field here. And this is exactly what you want in a season finale. You want battles on pretty much every part of the circuit. As we do see Tyler Long trying to go ahead, and here comes Matty Shepard trying to get a move done here. Here comes the split perspectives. Matty going up the inside, trying to be later on the brakes, trying to get through a bit of contact, a bit of paint being traded here between the two. And Matty Shepard getting that position for now, but Rodriguez does have the inside line. And Matty's got it. And Matty has indeed got it. And that is a pass for the podium positions. But now she's got to try to make the climb to get to Marcus up in P2, who is about 5 seconds away as Evelyn must have made a mistake earlier because Evelyn is now several seconds back. As Tyler Long now is going to go ahead and still try to push and try to get past Tuscanini here. Trying to get past Tuscanini has not been an easy feat. Rodriguez though pretty much right at the back of Matty Shepard here, so it's been close battles between these two. And I think this is probably going to be one of the closest battles we'll see on track here, as we have lost another car at some point, so we are down to 14 cars on track. So 14 cars still left in this race, so we have 5 cars in the 450s, and then in the CT300s, we have about 9 cars roughly. Let me check if my math is correct. Yep, there are 9 cars still running in this series, and then we have 5 cars in the final race here, so I think there might have been a bit of a disconnect here from Evelyn, and oh, Evelyn's back, so we did lose Evelyn. Evelyn is back, but yeah, so that is retirement number 2. Evelyn was putting in a pretty good run there, but unfortunately her race will come to an end, as now Saavedra does have his massive gap. But now we do have a battle here for to kind of sell out the podium spots here in CT300. Broust and the Saab of Bork are going to go ahead and try to get things through, as the battles in the CT450s have pretty much just spread out officially. The closest one is Rodriguez to Shepard, but we do have a really nice battle here between these 2 cars. Now Broust is a winner in this series. Elaine won earlier on. I think Elaine has 2 wins to her name, and has a bit of rally experience to her name as well, just coming through that corner. So it'll be interesting to kind of just see where these drivers do finish, as gaps are starting to get kind of spread out here as we're approaching the halfway stage of the race. We're on lap 10 out of 27. So it's going to be pretty much just kind of a fight to the finish for a lot of these drivers. So the gaps have been pretty far spread out. So here's what I'm going to do. These drivers will not be performing to the top of their game without hydration, so we will go ahead and, that is the wrong button, we're going to go ahead and take a bit of a hydration break while we go ahead and let you ride on board with the Jaguar, if we can get a good view. Let's just do the, actually we'll pick a different car to ride on board with, because I kind of want to see the wheel workings of these drivers. Here we go. We're going to ride on board with Ismael Rodriguez for a bit, and we're going to take a quick hydration break, and we'll be right back. Alright, we are back here, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of just cruising and listening to the engine of that Nissan R32. As we do have a battle here between Tyler Long and Aurelia Toscanini. Spark back up again. Tyler in the Rover does go a bit wide, a bit too deep into the braking zone there, as they go ahead and begin their next lap. It is currently lap number 12 out of 27 in this race, so we are approaching right at the halfway distance here of the race. So we'll just kind of have to see how the rest of this race goes. It is actually pretty scorching hot out here today. Air temperature is about 77. This may be the Arctic Circle Raceway, but it is not chilly at all here. I know I made the cold joke earlier, but looking at that weather forecast, it is 96 degrees on track, 77 in the air, with humidity of about 50%, so a little bit of weather information for you guys. So this track is going to be slick. The tires are going to heat up pretty quickly. We'll probably start seeing some pit stops. If they are going to happen, we're probably going to see them a bit sooner rather than later. Tyler Long is going to go very deep, and into a slide, into a spin. And there goes Raceway B. Actually, that might have been Evelyn Cook who might have just passed. Yeah, that was Evelyn Cook. So Evelyn Cook is back into the race. Had a disconnect in, giving it another go. So a few laps down from Tyler, but so just trying to get some extra experience in a Rover. Maybe we'll bring some upgrades to the Rover next season, or they may switch to a different Rover altogether for that Rover team. Tadaro is into the pits. Going to go ahead and make a stop there in the number 10 Sauber. Going to go ahead and get some new fuel, get some tires, and then be back on his way. And we'll see who else goes and makes the pit stop. And now look at this. The battle for the lead has kind of closed up a bit here, as Marcus Pennington III is trying to go ahead and make it a three-peat here. But Fred Bond is going to come into the pit, so that is a battle we won't see yet. But here's the thing too, is Pennington didn't pit last race, so that kind of led to, admittedly, my initial confusion. But he won the race because he didn't make a pit stop. He didn't need to make a pit stop. He just managed his fuel and managed his tires, and ultimately was able to just come away with it at the end. So I wonder if that's how Marcus is going to try to go ahead and go for the three-peat here. Because if that's the case, I believe that would put him in a pretty prime spot to win the championship here in the CT 450s. He would have the most wins out of any driver, currently tied with Maddie. Maddie has 2 wins to her name. Pennington has 2 wins to her name. Fred Bond is the only other winner. So it is round number 6 here at the Arctic Circle Raceway. The final round here at Mo i Rana, Norway. The northernmost track in the world. It's about 3.8 kilometers around. So it is going to be interesting just to see if Pennington can win another race, because he didn't need to make a pit stop. We will see if the management game is going to be strong enough as we do our customary leaderboard reset. So as the reset happens, we'll just take you through the field right now. Marcus Pennington hasn't led much of this race, but he did start from pole position, got jumped at the beginning from Fred Bondon, and then since the pit stops, he has been in the lead. Maddie Shepard didn't have the greatest start to her final race of the season, but she did fight and get past Ismael Rodriguez, who is now coming into the pits as Fred Bondon has led the entire race so far from the start, got a really good jump. Kyle McCain's had a bit of a rough one here. And then going over to the CT300s, it is Tito Saavedra who's been pretty much in the driver's seat the entire races now. He's going to go ahead and call a pit stop. Elaine Broust has been in a pretty good spot. Mayonnaise in P3 in class. And then we have Miles Prower, Leonard Bjork, Raceway B, Tyler Long, David Tadaro, Aurelia Toscanini, and Evelyn Cook, who did have a disconnect and was able to rejoin the server, and Patricia Fleck, who has been in the pits since the start of the race here today. We are about halfway, we're over halfway through the race now, and the big question mark is going to be is Pennington gonna pit? Because he didn't need to pit in Long Beach and he got away with it. So we'll see as Proust and Prower go side by side. It is Ford v Volkswagen here. Gonna try. Prower is gonna go for it. Try to retake the position. A bit of contact between the two. And as we ride on board now, we'll see Miles Prower is gonna go in and try to push that number 64 car to its limits. Elaine Brown's going a bit wide there, but it might open up the position. Trying to squeeze it, but just not enough room. Trying to maybe get a switch back. Elaine Brown's had to make a bit of a retake. And that Ford machine is still going to take that position back into P2. And it has been a tricky one here. The number 26 just having a bit of a rough night here. Actually, sorry, I don't know where I got 26 from. I mixed the two numbers up. Or actually added the two numbers. So the 64 is having a good one. Proust didn't have the greatest of times through that corner in the number 2 car. So that Martini Volkswagen is going to try to retake that P2 in class here. Going to try to get some battles in. Going through the hairpin. Proust is the inside line. Elaine Proust into position. But miles per hour is not going to give it up. Miles per hour is going to try to get it back. Going to do a slipstream coming into turn number 1. It is a wide track here, so overtaking opportunities are aplenty here. But I think Proust might have just gotten the best of that one. I think Proust might have just won that exchange. The gap is increasing as Mayonnaise is going to push her way to the back of the Saab just up the road from her. As Proust is actually still going to be under pressure from Miles Prower here. So Prower is going to go ahead and try to close in the gap. Trying to go ahead and get another shot at getting P2 as Maddie Shepard is into the pits. Pennington also made a pit stop. So we're not going to see another management masterclass here from Pennington. Pennington will come out just ahead of Shepard. And Maddie is actually going to come out only ahead of Rodriguez. So I don't think McCain's had the pit in yet. So maybe McCain's going to be the one that's going to pull out this strategy masterclass. But it looks like this could be Fred Bawden's race to lose here in that number 86 Toyota. I mean, it would be a good way to send off that chassis because it is speculated that that chassis may get retired at the end of the season. But jumping back down to the CT300s, it is a battle here for position. The number 24 of Mayonnaise trying to push away past the number 9 Sauber of Lennart Bjork here. The Saab is under some pretty immense pressure here as Mayonnaise is going to make the run down the straight coming into turn 1. Some good battles here after the pit stops have cycled on through as Prower's in the pits as well. So that is going to be the pit stop cycle pretty much completed for I think everybody on the track. I think Saavedra might be the only car that's still, no, Saavedra made a pit stop earlier, I believe. So I think it's pretty much everybody's done with the pit stops now, so it's going to be go, go, go from here to the checkered. As Mayonnaise still trying to use the Peugeot to throw some pressure up, reaching about 120 miles an hour before the corner, pushing nearly 200 kilometers here, getting over that 200 kilometer mark, trying to go for a send at the inside, and a little Peugeot that could have a little bit of a tap against the Saab, and Bjork is going to go to get pushed a bit wide, as Bjork is going to go ahead and try to retake. But look at B. B is actually right behind, or no, that might be, that's Cook. That's the lapped car of Cook going ahead and just splitting the two cars here. And that's going to give the Saab a good chance to start kind of running away here. Now, if I recall correctly, there are no blue flag rules here in the CTC, so you can fight anybody pretty much. I think the only rule is if it's cars in opposite classes potentially, but I mean, this is disaster for Mayonnaise because she definitely did not want to get past there because she wanted to continue pushing and ultimately potentially try to get back, and now Mayonnaise is out of the podium spots here which is not at all what the number 24 would have wanted. As, I mean, Bjork is a pretty good ways away from Saavedra and Braust, so I don't think that's going to be, there probably won't be any battles at that stage, but Bodden has done really well in this race. I think he is going to go ahead and take his second win of the season. He won the first round in Donington Park. He hasn't had a win since then, and now he's going to go ahead and try to get a race win here in Arctic Circle Speedway in Norway. So pretty much putting the entirety of the calendar in a kind of a sandwich, funny enough. He won the first and last race with Matty and Marcus taking everything in between. The field has spread out pretty far here as we have less than 10 laps to go on the season, which is a pretty crazy thing to think about, that we are just about 10 laps away from wrapping up the season here. I know it's supposed to be, we're supposed to get to around 8, but admin calls have pretty much allowed the season to wrap up at this track here at Arctic Circle. But I believe more action will be just around the corner here, as they're going to continue to race and fight. Mayonnaise not too far behind now, as Bjork is going to be under pressure from Evelyn, who is trying to kind of unlap herself. So we will see here how this is going to play out. I mean, you would think that this would be a battle for position, honestly, just considering that how hard that the fighting is going on here. But look at this. Something happened. Kyle McCain is into the pits, so that'll restore Matty to the P3 position. So that is going to be done and dusted there as Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise has got pace in that Windows-themed Peugeot, trying to go ahead and claw back into the podium positions here. The temperature hasn't really changed here on track. It is still 96 degrees Fahrenheit on track and 77 in the air. So, I mean, ultimately, it would feel like a pretty nice day out there. I mean, especially because I'm sure the Norwegian wind would feel absolutely beautiful at this time of day. The sun is shining directly on the track, though, so that would definitely add to the temperature here, as we are still seeing these drivers just go ahead and find it out. I mean, we got this fun little conga line here between Mayonnaise, Evelyn Cook, and Lennart Bjork. I wonder if it, I mean, we'll have to kind of confirm after the race, but there's a slim chance. It was the last round that me and Sam did. It was round 4 of the championship, I believe, where we had a disconnect during the race, and then it messed up the timing table. I wonder if it's a similar-ish issue, or if Evelyn Cook is genuinely just trying to make up some positions from her unfortunate disconnect earlier on. We will see, but regardless, she does have pace in that Rover, and it's looking unlikely at one point where the Rover had a chance of actually getting a win here tonight. Unfortunately, now that is still going to be in the realm of possibility, but look at this. Mayonnaise going to be deep in a deep dive, and going to absolutely punt Bork there. Oh, a bit too optimistic there for Mayonnaise. She tried to get a move done, but a bit too hard on the brakes. Absolutely just clobbering the back of Bork, and that's probably going to be a post-race penalty. So even if Mayonnaise does get that position, she'll probably end up losing it out anyway. Cook is in the pits. I wonder if Cook actually sustained some damage from that too. Or is Cook just making a pit stop? Oh, and overshot the pit box by a country mile. Oh, I guess a country kilometer because we're here in Europe, but still, I mean, overshot that pit box by a pretty healthy margin. As Mayonnaise is going to try to claw back, but you got to just wonder how much damage is on that Windows 95 themed Peugeot. There's certainly got to be some damage on both cars, so I think this battle could be pretty much wrapped up here. We'll see. Mayonnaise is still going to try to push as we check back in with the 450s, as it is the final 5 laps of the season. As Kyle McCain is pretty good ways back. The 450s are really spread out here, so unless Bawden or someone makes a mistake here, then I think it's pretty much going to be Fred Bawden making it, getting 2 wins here this season. So effectively all 6 rounds are split up perfectly evenly between 3 drivers. So that'll make things interesting in the championship front. I don't know who's going to win the championship at that stage, but a bit of a break lockup there from Bawden as he's trying to get past the number 10. And that is going to be through, getting through on David Todaro there, who is currently in P11 overall and P6 in class. So as we take a look at the CT 450s, I mean, there's pretty much massive gaps spread out between everybody. So it'll be interesting to see how this grid is going to look next season. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I think the car that's definitely going to likely change is we're probably going to see a different car for Bawden. He might finally retire the Toyota Supra chassis and upgrade to a Mark IV. And in that case, we'll have to see how that car does here this time around. Because, I mean, that car has been pretty consistently quick. The Jaguars will be an interesting one, too. Somebody was off there. Not sure who that was off there. Must be one of the 300s. I got a feeling Slim chance it might have been Mayonnaise, but yeah, I think her car's probably got damage after that shunt. I would be pretty surprised otherwise, but and it'll be interesting because we do kind of know that the Renault has pretty much just been the class of the field here this season. So I wonder who's going to be able to step up and try to take the challenge to the Renault this coming season. A car that has been well known in the Rally Championship is now putting in some good performances here in the season finale. We are pretty much now, actually I think officially have 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go of the season as Bawden is about to make it 4 laps to go on the season. And we are coming down to the final stages here. It's crazy to think that we've already been through the season. I mean, I guess it's really only been about a month and a half, but still it's been a fun ride, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have and as much as, well, I believe the drivers have. Because there's been some good battles, some fun racing here. I mean, Long Beach was a great track. I mean, I can't really even think of really a bad track that we've been to through this season. So we'll just see what tracks are going to be around next time and what cars are going to be here next time. What cars are we going to be graced with? And what drivers are going to do battle here. Some drivers may move up to the 450s and some may come down to the 300s. We'll just kind of have to see how the off season goes. And I mean, I've heard some pretty exciting things in the works, so do stay tuned for that. Mayonnaise now is still trying. I mean, this is a battle that's been going on for several laps now. I mean, it's been some pretty good battles as we're going to go ahead and just see. Now we do have Maddie Shepard getting through traffic herself. She will pass David Todaro in the Saab, as David is going to be, I mean, there's more on offer, and maybe, depending on the severity of Mayonnaise's penalty, I mean, maybe a chance for a top 5, but there's definitely more from that. But here we go. Rec B trying to put that number 66 Rover ahead of Aurelio Toscanini in the Mazda RX-7. The Rover is going to try now. Got a good run down the straight. And we will see if there's going to be a move made here between these cars. The Rover's going to give it the old college try here. And Toscanini is going to give it a try to defend. But there's a car that has come off. That is David Todaro. And now this is a three-way fight, essentially, as Toscanini gets on through. Toscanini will be late on the brakes, get past the Saab there. And now it is Rover and Saab going to go ahead and go at it here. as B is going to go ahead and try to believe that the number 66 has a chance to get past here. As Tadaro is putting on a mighty fine defense here. We'll see. It looks like maybe a bit of connectivity as well. So, gonna come through. Gonna try to fire it up the inside. Tadaro looking a bit shaky in that Saab. The Rover might get the position here. The Saab is gonna go ahead and snap to the apex first. So that is going to be a good position. Capped! And that's a bit of connectivity if I've ever seen it. And I'm sure that probably made Reke's heartbeat just shoot through the roof and back. So a bit of a jump scare. We do get those in motorsports from time to time, but it is always terrifying nevertheless, as Mayonnaise is still trying to put pressure on the Bjork there to get that last step of the podium. I mean, the 450s are truly spread out here. They're going to continue racing here. It is the final lap and a half of racing here this season, as we're about to go ahead and wrap things up here at the Arctic Circle Raceway. We've had some good battles up and down the field here today, as Reke B is still trying to close it in onto the back of David Tadaro. Toscanini is already pulled away pretty nicely, so Toscanini is going to take P6 in class, unless one of these guys has something to say about it, because Tadaro and B, I mean, they're still going to be racing. And oh, Tadaro goes deep, B goes through, and that's going to sting, as just kind of brake checking there. Oh, and a bit of, maybe a tap, maybe a bit of connectivity once again. We'll just have to see. But on the final lap of the season here, it has been a man who won the first race, was consistent throughout the season, and then now he's had a dominant drive here. He got second place, he qualified in second, he shot up into the lead going into turn one, and then he's never really had to look back since. And a car in an aging chassis, a chassis that is speculated to get replaced next season. But just because something is old, I mean, it's never too late to teach an old dog new tricks. And in this case, new tracks as well, because we've been to a handful of new tracks here this season, including Dragon Trail in the mid part of the season. And we will see, and I believe Arctic Circle is a new battleground for these drivers as well, but they're going to go and make their way through the last couple of corners now into the tail end of Sector 2 on the track. Going to go, and he's got a car up ahead, but he's not concerned. His main rival in this race is about 5 seconds back. So he's going to go and make his way through the corner for the final time. One last corner of the season. It's been a dominant drive for the number 86 Toyota. And he's going to celebrate from the top step of the podium. Fred Bawden wins the Arctic Circle Raceway season finale here at the CTC season number 3. Saavedra now is going to go ahead and try to wrap things up here, as Matty Shepard will round out the podium in the 450s with Rodriguez and McCain filling out the final spots, but now making his way through the final couple of corners for himself. Tito Saavedra has been in a really good form this season. This will be, I believe, his third win of the season here, so I believe he will take the championship. We won't have the answers here, unfortunately, but it has been a very good drive for Saavedra. He has pretty much also dominated this race kind of from start to finish, except this time he did have that pole position, so he's going to go ahead and come across the line now to take victory in the CT300s. Tito Saavedra wins the Norwegian race here at Arctic Circle Speedway for round number 6, the season finale. Done and dusted here on the night. What a drive it has been all season. Mayonnaise still trying to chase Bork down to the line as Tadaro is done. But our race winners here tonight, Fred Bawden and Tito Saavedra. as we still get that really funny camera for Zavedra's car. But I mean, what a drive it has been. What a season it has been here. It has only been 6 rounds, but each round has been action-packed and filled to the brim with beautiful racing here. We're just going to go ahead and wait for the final results to show on through, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here for the last time this season. I mean, just what a drive we have, what a season we have had here. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. The first fully broadcasted season here of the CTC. And hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed it. I'm sure I can speak for Sam, who was here for most rounds. I can tell you that he definitely enjoyed it as well. So, it's been a fun season. Can't wait to see what next season brings, but hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Go ahead and drop a like and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next race here in the CTC. And we're going to go ahead and just wait for the final results to pop up. And then we are going to go ahead and sunset season number 3. I also do want to thank, while we're waiting for everything to kind of wrap up, I do want to thank every single driver who has put in the work to get their car ready for the season. I know it's not been an easy feat, and I also want to thank the management team for allowing, well, myself and Sam to broadcast and commentate over the course of the season. Thanks to all the admin who put on all the hard work behind the scenes. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and run through our final results of the season. It's crazy to believe that, but it is an all-British top 3 with Fred Baldwin, Marcus Pennington III, and Matty Shepard rounding out the podium in the CT 450s. And then we have Ishmael Rodriguez and Kyle McCain rounding out the category. Then it is Tito Saavedra, Ellen Browston, and Lennart Bork going ahead and getting the top 3 in the CT 300, followed by Mayonnaise, miles per hour. And then Aurelio Toscanini, Rec AB, Tyler Long, David Zadaro, Evelyn Cook. And that is pretty much it out of our top 15 here. Everybody else that is on this list did not compete here in today's race. But, I mean, yeah, it's been a fun time here in the Custom Touring Cars Championship. Tune in next time for when we get to our next series, whether it's Season 4 or another series. Which one is it? You'll just have to subscribe and find out. But on behalf of the CTC, my name is Patrick Coleman, and I've been your host and commentator.